If you are not lazy, go look at the Grammy nominations. Just look at the pop ones, the urban ones, all those, yeah. And you'll notice something. If you know your modern day music, you'll notice something. A very big name or a very big album and a very big artist is nowhere to be found. The the Weeknd received zero Grammy nominations. Zero. Not a single Grammy nomination. He had the number one album for a month. He has the third biggest album of any genre this year. And Blinding Lights spend more weeks in the Hot 100 than any song ever. It's the biggest hit of this year, yet The Weeknd didn't receive one single nomination for the Grammys. Now, last year, as soon as the Grammys came around, I had a similar rant because I think it was Drake's performance, or he said something at the Grammys, so me and Evan had to talk about what he was saying. But The Weeknd's decision to perform at the Super Bowls apparently cost him his Grammy nominations. Because the Super Bowl and the Grammys are so close together, I think there was an issue where the Grammys gave him an ultimatum. You have to perform at one of us. You can't be at both of them. So that was the kind of issue that they had there. This is obviously just reports. The Grammys have thoroughly rejected that is what actually happened. But The Weeknd came out and on Twitter and tweeted saying that the Grammys are corrupt. His tweet read, "The Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me, my fans, and the industry transparency." The Grammys then felt like they had to respond to The Weeknd being snubbed. One of their spokespeople said, this is Harvey Mason Jr., the Recording Academy Chair and interim president CEO of the Grammys. He said, "We understand that The Weeknd is disappointed at not being nominated. I was surprised and can empathize with what he's feeling. His music this year was excellent. We were thrilled when we found out he would be performing at the upcoming Super Bowl, and we would have loved for him to also perform on the Grammy stage in the weekend before. To be clear, voting in all categories ended well before The Weeknd's performance at the Super Bowls was announced, so in no way it could have affected the nomination progress." Okay, so that he cleared up the fact that The Weeknd probably was not told he probably was not denied any nominations because of the Super Bowl performance, but it still doesn't explain the fact that one of the biggest artists in the world dropped one of the biggest albums of the year and didn't get a single nomination for the biggest awards in music. It invigorated a lot of people. Someone that's been very outspoken about the Grammys at the Grammys, Drake, even came to his Instagram story to speak about it. Drake said, "I think we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what once was the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to artists that exist now, and the ones that came after. It's like a relative you keep expecting to fix up, but they just can't change their ways. The other day I said at The Weeknd was a lock for either album or song of the year, along with countless others. Reasonable assumptions, and it just never goes that way. This is a great time for somebody to start something new that we can build up over time and pass on to the generations to come." And Drake put some great points in there. Maybe it is time to... And it's hard. I mean, it's hard what I'm going to say. Like, taking the power away from the Grammys is by no means an easy task. It's a corporation that's been around for so long, a billion pound organization. So it's hard to take the power away from it. You can boycott the Grammys. Artists have boycotted them before, but that doesn't. Now look. The Grammys are back. I mean, you got hip hop artists performing there, but 20 years ago, hip hop artists were not turning up. They were refusing to turn up. So it's hard to. You have to unite for stuff like that, and you'd have to refuse awards. You have to refuse it emphatically, and you'd need every artist to be on it, because you don't. This isn't hip hop now. The Weeknd is not a hip hop artist. He's a pop artist. He's an R&B artist at times. He can be a soulful artist. This isn't a rapper. This is a musician. But these guys are disjusticing musicians, not just rappers. The Grammys have gone too far with it. You cannot have The Weeknd give the third highest, most selling album of the year, a song that broke the record for time spent on the Billboard Hot 100, more weeks than any song ever, 40 weeks, and you still do not give him a single nomination, not a single one. There's a different thing being nominated and not winning, but The Weeknd didn't get a single nomination. And he has one of the best albums of the year, hands down. One of his best projects of his career. And I don't know. I'm lost for words. He even had people like Elton John coming out. Elton John put on his Instagram, in my humble opinion, Blinding Lights is Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Hashtag Grammy snub. It enraged so many people. It enraged people all over the music industry, rightfully so, because it's ridiculous that The Weeknd can have that much success, be one of the most successful artists of the year. Every time I'm bringing up Lil Baby being the highest selling album of the year, who do I always have to bring up with it? The Weeknd and Taylor Swift. Because those two were so much further than everybody else. That top three is a lock. The rest of the people are trying to catch up. But those three have sold so much more than anybody else. It's ridiculous. In other news, Kanye West has now got is now a 70-time Grammy nominee. The legendary goatish career of Kanye West just grows and grows and grows, doesn't it? Adding more and more accolades. 70-time Grammy nominee. But at this rate, after talking like that, it just kind of dampens it. Because I just don't have respect for Grammy. I feel like, yeah, okay, you win the Grammy, so what? Macklemore beat Good Kid, Mad City to a Grammy. And you're telling me I'm meant to take this thing seriously? Macklemore's album beats Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, and Yeezus by Kanye West for Rap Album of the Year. Just in 2018, or was it 2019, Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B beat Astroworld, beat Daytona, beat so many other albums that were ridiculous. Because it's a popularity contest. It's not based off artistry. It's based off what winner and what nominees make a statement the most. What fits our agenda. When you have people that don't really listen to the music that they're voting on, it's hard to get things right. It's hard. I think the whole process of being nominated and winning a Grammy needs to be looked over, because the people that are voting, the nominating board, are doing disjustice to artists. The whole thing needs to be reshaped. The whole governing body of the Grammys needs to be reshaped. They needs to be rethought. Something needs to change, because this can't happen. Musicians are losing things. There's people that still take this seriously. Look, The Weeknd might not care. The Weeknd might not care. That's the thing we need to realize, because The Weeknd is one of the most successful artists of our generation. But younger artists, if they can do this to The Weeknd, what are they doing to the lower artists? Explain that to me. If they can do that to The Weeknd, one of the biggest artists of our generation, one of the biggest artists ever, what are they doing to artists that don't have that power, that don't have that clout? It's something that seriously needs to be looked at. Something that seriously needs to be looked at. And you know what? I said I was going to go for a rant. I've probably been ranting for way too long. And I just, yeah. The Grammys, it gets to, man. I can't lie to you guys. It gets to, man. They do a disjustice to everyone. They do a disjustice to everyone in the music business, because it's unfair. Some people genuinely do care about these awards, and you're robbing them of it. You're robbing to have the title Grammy nominated or Grammy title. Like, it does so much for a small artist. For you to rob that from them is so peak. It's so peak. I'm gonna cry in the music break. I'll be back in a second, guys. Not joking.
We went from rags to riches, project fences to living luxury. Now we live luxury. Straight out that bottom, nobody gave nothing.